Hi everyone, this is Margaret Manning with Boomerly. My guest today is Lisa Copeland. Lisa is a dating coach. She works with women over 50 to find love in their lives and to navigate these treacherous waters of dating in your 50s. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Margaret. It's nice to be here.
It's great to have you here. Lisa, we've talked before about dating in your 50s and about the fact that, there's certain things you can do to make it easier, in terms of just following some guidelines, the steps of doing a great profile, what to do when you're online dating and where to go to look for guys. And we have a series of videos that people can check out and get, more information. But one thing that really struck me that I'd like to talk to you about in more detail is this idea that a relationship in your 50s is built on values and not built on physical attraction. Well, maybe it's built on physical attraction, but there's got to be that underlying value system.
So to sustain it.
To sustain it. Exactly.
Yes.
And that if you don't have a shared value system, that you're probably going to have difficulty keeping that relationship going.
Yes.
So,
for sure.
So tell us what you mean by same value system and give us some examples.
Sure. Well, one of the value systems, there's lots of values that we can look at.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is sex. And that is, do you like sex? Do you want a man that likes sex? Or do you dislike sex? And that means you need a man that is not so into sex. That is a value. If you have one of you wanting it all the time and one of you never wanting it, that is not sustainable, no matter how attracted you are to each other.
I'm glad you started with that, by the way. I'm really glad you started with it because I think that we always think of values. We think of honesty or integrity, those kinds of subtle values that, that are demonstrated over your life in different actions. Are you an honest person? But sex is like right there. Like if you don't like it that much in your life, you've got to know that's the value system that any relationship has to be formed around. So keep going. That was a good one to choose as a first.
Because you'll be miserable.
Yeah.
You'll always feel like something's missing. So no matter what a great friend a man is, if you want sex and he doesn't, you'll be miserable. It's a setup for failure. Honesty and integrity are huge values. And this especially comes from someone that has probably been betrayed in some way from a past relationship they've been in. And obviously the person you were with did not share the same value of honesty and integrity. We don't always know it until later, but if you really listen to someone and they tell you stories, then you can hear if they're honest or if they have integrity. We oftentimes skip past it because our physical attraction to them is so strong that we go, doesn't matter. It does matter. They'll tell you stories of where they were dishonest. If they were dishonest, they will. They'll tell you maybe about an affair they had in the past. And if you are into honesty and integrity, this is a red flag for you. Religion is huge. A lot of women, even though you're not having children, they really want a man that shares their religious beliefs with them, that they can go to a house of worship that's the same and share the same holidays together. So this is a huge value as well.
So that's great, Lisa. I mean, I really do understand this, the spirituality. I understand that one because it's so ingrained in every behavior that if you aren't sharing that experience, or at least, being aware that that person might have that as a private life. I mean, I think people can be of two religions, but, have a mutual respect. But I can think of some other values. Let me see if, for example, what about monogamy or fidelity?
Huge, because some people feel they want to keep dating and some people want a monogamous relationship. And that can be a setup for success or failure as well, because you don't want someone who to be in a long-term relationship with who is still thinking the grass is greener on the other side all the time. You want someone who feels that they're right for you and you're right for them. Another one.
By the way, I just watched the Marigold Hotel, the second Marigold Hotel movie, and there's a couple in there that are just great. I don't know whether you've seen that movie, but they both don't want to be monogamous, but they pretend that they do. And it's like you've just said, that underlying value system. They had the same value system, which is they didn't want to be monogamous.
They just weren't honest about it.
They just weren't honest about it. So I think that's the important thing, is that sometimes the value may be not a traditional accepted by society value. But if you both feel that's your baseline, your value, then it's something you two together respect and work out. So anyway, but you were going to say some other examples.
Yes, cleanliness.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
If you're a slob and the person you're with is a neat freak, you got a problem before you ever. Now, this is something you may not find out until you go visit their home and you'll be able to tell, but this can create huge dissension in a relationship. Kindness is another value. Are people kind to each other? Really pay attention to how they treat wait staff and people in stores and anywhere you are. See how they treat people, because this is really important as well.
Because a lot of times, these are great examples. A lot of times you're not asking, are you a neat freak? You have to pay attention. You have to watch. Or do you have a tolerance, or are you prejudiced in some way? You may not see that. They certainly wouldn't answer the question, are you prejudiced? You'd have to watch to see how they, as you say, how they behave. So values are sneaky, aren't they? Sometimes they're quite obvious, and then sometimes they're more subtle.
It's rarely something you will see on a first date. Yeah. It rarely is. But I can offer your community a list of values. If they'd like to get that list of values to look at, they can write to me at lisa@findaqualityman.com. Just tell me that you would like the list of values, and we will send them to you.
Great.
So that you can take a look.
That'd be great. In fact, maybe you could send them, and we could also put them in as an attachment with the article, with the video, because I think it's so funny, Lisa. I was actually thinking about this the other day, that when we're in high school, we don't learn anything that's useful. What have you remembered? And if only we had some of these tools when we were going into our first and second marriages, it would have been so helpful to have, had this insight. So we said, yes, let's offer it.
Into values. But write to me and I will send them to you.
Fantastic. That's great. And also, I wanted to just mention to people that you've got a couple of other books. You've got a report, which is a really cool report on how the 5 secret steps, or the 5 places to meet men, and, just how to get out there and navigate. And then
that is the 5 little known secrets for finding men at findaqualityman.com. You can find it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've read that one. That's actually very helpful.
Thank you.
And then you have a book on Amazon, exclusively on Amazon, and that's a bestseller, and it's called, wait a minute, I wrote it down, but you tell me. It's Winning Dating Formula for Women Over 50.
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Well, I know it's done really well, and for a reason, Lisa. You are just so, you're just so practical and so useful in your information. And you've lived it. You've lived the story.
I've lived it. Yes, I have.
And these values are important.
Very, very important. And more so than someone's looks, it's their values that are truly, and how you feel around a man. These are the 2 key places for success in a relationship.
Just to be self-aware, to watch how you respond to that individual when you're together, and then also, I suppose at some point you have to ask the questions about values. I think that's, if you want a monogamous relationship and you don't want to have sex with a person, for example, until you're sure that that's how they feel, you just got to ask that question. I think there's no point sleeping with someone if you know in your heart you want it monogamous, and you don't know until you ask what they are thinking. So I think
that takes time. That's not, like I said, that's not first date conversation yet.
You don't pull out the checklist and start asking, what are your... No, we don't.
But you listen to what people say on a date, because what they share with you is very telling of who they are and some of their values. And you'll get more clarity as you go out more and more.
I love this conversation on values. Thank you so much, Lisa. It's been really, really helpful.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Thanks again.